Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to the video. I hope your morning is going great. Mine is, and today we got a really good video. First, we're going to be talking about the London Spitfire again. On Reddit, little Susie Kim, who is the general manager of London Spitfire, she made some really informative posts about why they got rid of their players. Just a bunch of stuff along those lines. We'll be taking a look at all of that. And then lastly in this video, I will make my predictions for Week 2 of Stage 4 in the Overwatch League. If you guys are new here, do not forget, click the subscription button. I upload content like this every single day, so if you want to stay updated with the Overwatch League, this is your channel. Also, drop a like on the video, and let's go ahead and hop into it. So starting off again with the London Spitfire. So yesterday, if you guys don't know already, they dropped 4 of their players: HOU, HOU, and Tizzy. There was a lot of different opinions about this. I was reading a ton of your guys' comments. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. I uploaded it yesterday, and there was a bunch of good comments on there. A lot of different opinions. Some people thought, oh, wow, why would they do this? Clearly, some of their players are going through injuries. That's just dumb to drop your players. As well as, wow, why would they even pick up Tizzy if they were never going to play him? A ton of good stuff, and I agree with you guys. And what's awesome is, actually, Susie Kim pretty much answered and cleared up all of these questions. So let's just hop right into that. So first things first, somebody asked, will these 4 be helping with scrims, strategies, or anything else? Or are they just sort of gone from the team preparation altogether? Susie said this: we sent them back home to Korea for now, and we are actively trying to find new teams for them as they figure out what they want to do going forward. Alright, that's good. So it seems like they are in good hands. The org is taking care of them. And then the next one, somebody asked, did this have anything to do with the skill levels? Susie responded, no, their skill levels are fine. Somebody then asked this: why now when more and more players seem to be picking up injuries just as we're getting into crunch time? Susie responded with this: now, because it is crunch time. We have 2 months left. We've discussed with Birdring and Fury, and they said they can play out the rest of the season and will put in their all. Then he asked, why do they need to be left in this strange limbo between being cut and being on the bench? And why HOU? She responded, HOU's diva style is more on the aggressive side. It doesn't work with how the rest of the team plays. He is absolutely wonderful, but it's simply a playstyle preference. Then he asked, the press release reads almost like an implicit admission that the 12-man roster isn't working for the team. So is that this 12-man roster or the 12-man roster as a system? Susie said this: the 12-man roster just didn't work for us. I can't speak for any other team, but we feel this is the best move for us going forward. Somebody responded saying, thanks for the answer, Susie, but I'm a bit puzzled by this. London hasn't had a head coach for over 2 months. Wouldn't that be a large factor in the 12-man roster not working? Susie responded, maybe we do have a head coach and you guys just don't know about it. We only had 11 men, by the way. 12-man roster didn't work for us because everyone is good enough to be a starter. And at the end of the day, we can still only field 6 on the stage. Susie also had this statement to make: there was a lot of discussion and tears over this decision. Please believe me when I say this was one of the hardest decisions we, staff, coaches, and organization had to make. These 4 players are not bench material. They are incredibly talented players who should be able to shine on any team they play on. We decided to make this announcement so they could quickly find new homes while giving them security of being under the Spitfire banner and also having financial stability during this time. She responded to all those questions about Tizzy. Why did you pick him up if you were never going to play him? It's pretty much summed up in this: Tizzy hasn't played a single game yet, and he's not going to start when they need wins. If he was better than Gesture, he would have played already. As for HOU, this sums it up. There's zero reason to ever play HOU over Bedosin. Bedosin is second only to Jonak. As for HOU, this sums it up. HOU isn't on the level of Prophet or Birdring, with Prophet getting back into form and both Birdring and Prophet having seemingly learned to play Pharah, he offers nothing. As for HOU is a slightly harder one, but lots of people think Fury is the best diva in the league, and he has been very strong on Zarya, which is important in this meta and map pool. Susie said, well, she doesn't agree with everything here. Most of this applies and makes sense. She also chimed this in about Tizzy. Tizzy is an amazing Rhine player, like holy moly, but the rest of the team has already adapted to Gesture's playstyle, and he's been consistent for us. There was really no space to incorporate Tizzy as much as we wanted to. When we picked him up, we thought we'd be getting a 12th player as well to keep things even, but awkwardly ended up with 11. The other 3 players, HOU, HOU, and HOU, it honestly just came down to playstyles. They were awesome to work with, always on time to meetings, mostly, always positive, practiced hard, took feedback to heart, Great attitudes on all of them. Skill-wise, they have been consistently good. HOU even hitting a rank 1 on ladder. It's just that this is a team game, and no matter how many times we try to come up with combinations that can work for everyone, it just didn't work. You guys watched the games. You saw what happened. We want to focus on just the core now so we can really hone in on their individual skill and team cohesion. I know a lot of you guys are upset, but please try and understand why we did this. I'm actively helping these players find new teams because I want the best for them and for them to have the chance to really show the world what they can do. It's better for us to make this cut now so that the core team can focus on being the best team in Stage 4 and into playoffs. We all lived in one house. All of our guys are so sweet and kind in nature that sometimes they feel bad that someone's not playing over someone else, or that everyone should get equal playing time, etc. By removing the extra players from the house, it shows by example that we are really serious about honing down to a core. It also motivates the remaining players to work hard and focus on their own game, and not of the people sitting around the house bench warming. Then she was asked, is there a plan in place for injuries if they occur? They are all in Korea now, so if Birdring Fury, 2 players who have encountered injuries so far, or someone like Gesture obtain an injury, you have no reliable placement. Susie said this, I know injuries we can't plan for, but the guys are well aware of this and are taking precautions. They are doing exercises every day for their wrists, shoulders, and back, and plan to finish out the season strong. I just want the fans to know that this was not easy by any means. So that's pretty much everything that was said, and it's a lot to take in. And first and foremost, I want to say, give a round of applause for Susie and the London Spitfire organization. They are extremely transparent about this. Honestly, it's pretty hard to find a team that's going to be this transparent when they go through changes. I think them and the Los Angeles Valiant so far are clean favorites for that. And in general, it just seems like the London Spitfire are trying to do whatever they can do to win. And the London Spitfire thinks the best way to get to that win is by dropping their roster down to 6-7 players, focusing on teamwork, individual skill, just overall making it more simple for the players in the team, which, as I mentioned yesterday in my video, does seem to be what is working in the league right now. Those smaller rosters that build up really strong teamwork and just nail down the meta. I can definitely see how swapping out your players a ton will definitely hurt your chances of winning because you got more players you got to learn to play with, different combinations you have to practice with. It's just so much more work. And I know there's a lot of flack going around right now saying, oh, I guess 12-man rosters aren't going to ever work. Well, this is a different situation. This 12-man roster was really a 12-man roster. Like, all 12 players would play. And they realized that was the issue. I still think a 12-man roster where you have 6 starters and then 6 subs who will 100% not play unless somebody gets really sick or something. That way you will always have the same 6 players on the stage, but then you will still have those 6 really good players that your starters can practice against all the time. You can hide strategies still. I think that is the optimal way to practice with 12 men. I think that is the optimal way to have a 12-man roster. And we're yet to see anybody do it in the league so far, so we'll just have to wait and see. Anyways, that's pretty much it for this. Hopefully you guys learned everything you needed to know about the London Spitfire situation. If you guys got any more questions, be sure to leave them down below in the comments. I'll be taking a look. And now let's move on to the last part of this video. I'm going to be covering my predictions for this Overwatch League week. Starting off with the first day, we have the Boston Uprising and the Dallas Fuel. Now, the Boston Uprising might be slumping, might be hard to adapt, but I don't think the Dallas Fuel can contest them. It's going to be a 3-1 or 4-0. Moving on to the next match, we have the Florida Mayhem and the Los Angeles Valiant. There's definitely upset potential here. We don't really know how strong the LA Valiant is because in the first week, they did play Seoul Dynasty, and that match looked really good. It made Seoul look good, it made the Valiant look good, but then Seoul got destroyed by Shock. So it's kind of hard to judge that and say Valiant's good. And then their second match, they played Shanghai. So yeah. Valiant's kind of up in the air. As for the Florida Mayhem, they had a decent match against the New York Excelsior. They drew a map, and NY kind of did look pretty rusty. It's honestly a 50-50, but you got to give the edge to the Valiant because of how they performed in the last stage. They'll probably win this one 3-1 or 4-0, but there is potential for upset here. Then moving on to the greatest match of the week, we have the Houston Outlaws LA Gladiators. I cannot wait for this one tonight. This is pretty much deciding which team is going to make the playoffs and which one is probably going to struggle to make it. The winner of this has an easy road. The loser of this is going to have a much harder road. Both of them so far seem to have adapted really well to this meta. I'm surprised by the Houston Outlaws, but I'm not surprised by the Gladiators. I've seen it coming from them. And this is honestly just going to be an absolute war. First, we're starting off on Kings Row. Houston Outlaws, this has been one of their better maps. Moving on to Hanamura. Outlaws kind of struggled here. Gladiators a little bit better than Houston, but not by much. Then moving on to Oasis. The Gladiators, I think they're a bit better than the Houston Outlaws are, but still it's going to be close. And then the very last map is going to be Dorado. That's a toss-up. Both teams have been pretty decent here, and I just think whoever shows up tonight will win this. I got to make a prediction, though, and I do think it's going to be the LA Gladiators taking this set 3-1. And then moving on to Thursday, we're starting off with London Spitfire and the San Francisco Shock. I don't know who to pick here. I feel like London Spitfire, maybe they made these changes. They'll be a better team now. They can start getting back to their form. And then we look at the San Francisco Shock. Sinatra and freaking Architect, man, they looked so good in their matches last week. Insane level of play against Seoul Dynasty. If they're able to play like that, I think they might be able to beat the London Spitfire. But am I willing to pick them? I don't know. I'm always wrong now when I pick the London Spitfire. Oh well, I'm going with London Spitfire 3-1 or 3-2. Moving on to the next match, we have the LA Gladiators, Florida Mayhem. I think the Gladiators will take this fairly easily, 3-1 or 4-0. Moving on to the last match of Thursday, Philadelphia Fusion, Shanghai Dragons. They don't stand a chance. Carpe, EQO, Boombox, everybody on this team just outclasses Shanghai. It's a 4-0. Moving on to Friday, we're starting off with the LA Valiant and the Boston Uprising. I think this will be a close match. And to be honest, Valiant, they've had a fairly easy schedule so far. They're playing against a lot of teams that are slumping or just aren't good at all. So a good opportunity for them to start off with a 4-0, just like they did last stage. And it seems like they might be able to secure that first seed for Pacific. I'm going to give them the victory in this one, 3-2. Moving on to the next matchup, we have New York Excelsior and Seoul Dynasty. Now, Seoul Dynasty might be slumping, but every time these guys play, it's a pretty close and fun, exciting match. That being said, Seoul Dynasty is a complete wreck right now. I don't know if Jaehong's going to be playing. Miro apparently is back. I have no idea. New York Excelsior is going to win this, 4-0, 3-1. I do hope it's a close match, though. Moving on to Friday's last match, we have San Francisco Shock and the Houston Outlaws. I think this is going to be a very good matchup. Depending on how well the Houston Outlaws do against the LA Gladiators, I think the results of Houston's match against the LA Gladiators earlier in the week will definitely have an impact on this match. If they're able to beat the Gladiators, I definitely think they'll beat the Shock. If they lose to the Gladiators, they're going to have some trouble with the Shock. As I mentioned, Architect and Sinatra playing out of their minds right now, and it's just not them two. Super's been playing good. Moth and Sleepy, they're one of the most underrated backlines right now in my opinion. And I'm going to go with the Houston Outlaws, 3-2. It's going to be a close one. Moving on to Saturday, the very last day of this week, we start off with Seoul Dynasty against the London Spitfire. It's the battle of the two washed up Korean teams. Pretty much an omega lull here. I don't know who's going to win. I'm going to go with London Spitfire. I say they have a better chance simply because overall London Spitfire has looked better against Seoul Dynasty this season. So yeah, 3-1, 3-2 victory for London Spitfire. Moving on to the next matchup, Shanghai Dragons, New York Excelsior. Yeah. Okay, 4-0 for NY. Easy wipe. Moving on to the last match, Dallas Fuel, Philadelphia Fusion. Another easy wipe. It's going to be a 4-0 for Philadelphia Fusion. Dallas Fuel, they might be improving. They look decent with their roster that they're running, but they're not going to be able to beat Carpe and the boys. They're too good. And that's pretty much it for the predictions, guys. Let me know what you think about my predictions down below about the London Spitfire. Just ask me any questions. Drop a like on the video. If you're new around here and you enjoy this type of content, be sure to subscribe. I upload Overwatch League videos every single day. And for the last thing, guys, go down below to the comments. Click the video I linked. It is a link to my second channel. Now, it's a video about what I'm going to be covering, and it is Fortnite esports on that channel. I really do need something to fall back on when the Overwatch League ends for the off season. And I'm hoping that you guys will support me in this. So if you do enjoy Fortnite, be sure to go drop a sub on my channel. And even if you don't, do me a favor, go drop a sub, like the video. You don't have to watch the content, but show me some love, because I really do work hard for these Overwatch League videos, guys. I've seriously uploaded a video every single day for the last 6 months, and even multiple videos on a lot of the days. It's been a grind. I do love doing it, so yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you either later tonight or tomorrow. Peace.